The following provides information on how to learn in the long term. Specifically, we will be discussing the behaviors needed to remember and apply information on demand. Based on decades of research on expertise, we can define long-term learning as the ability to recall and apply information on demand. This happens when that information is easily available in your long-term memory. So, long-term learning is really about getting information into your long-term memory. To do that, you first have to get the information into your short-term memory. When you do this, you can recall that information in the immediate term. However, short-term memory only lasts about 15 to 30 seconds. Therefore, to recall that information even a minute later, it has to reach your long-term memory. To recall it the next day, you have to embed it in your long-term memory, which just means forming some sort of connection to it, either by repeating it or by giving it some meaning. When information has meaning, it is much easier to recall. To fully embed that information in your long-term memory, it is best to actually use it. When you both recall and apply knowledge and skills over time, you become highly competent. Then, to become an expert and recall it on demand, memories need to be consolidated. This way, we can recall the information even if we haven't encountered it for some time. Memories form when neurons connect. So to learn knowledge and skills in the long term, we first have to make the connection. Then we have to strengthen the connection. How do we do this? We do it by enacting specific behaviors that align with how we form long-term memories. First, we have to pay attention. Paying attention to learning materials or new information gets it into short-term memory. It is a critical step. But as we noted, we will only remember it for 15 to 30 seconds if all we do is pay attention. To get it to long-term memory, we have to give it meaning by forming deliberate associations or connections to it. These associations can take one of two forms. The first way is to associate new information with what you already know. Especially as adults, we rarely encounter something that is completely new. The second way is to figure out how it all fits together to form a bigger picture of the information. We form these connections by exploring information that is related to what we are learning. These associations literally form new neural connections in the brain. In turn, these neural connections free up our working memory to then apply the new knowledge and skills in practice. When we repeatedly practice, we form even more connections and reinforce the existing ones. We also need to get feedback, because when we pay attention to feedback, we strengthen some connections and we weaken connections we made in error. Finally, once we have gained experience through practice with feedback, we need to critically reflect on that experience to become experts. Critical reflection means looking back at past successes and failures to figure out not just what works, but why it works. Altogether, to learn in the long term, we need to enact 4 behaviors to grow and strengthen neural connections in our brain. Number 1, pay attention. Number 2, form deliberate associations by exploring information that is related to the learning topic. Number 3, practice with feedback. And number 4, critically reflect by reviewing past successes and failures and examining underlying patterns.